Welcome back to the most professional beyond all reason, with 8 of the top commanders in the game loading into a 4 versus 4 tournament showdown. The game is absolutely free to play, inspired by total annihilation, but it will cost you much of your sanity and a whole lot of your free time. But if you're willing to spend more, it'd be awesome if you could do it here by smashing that like button and maybe even subscribing. And Jimmy, what are we at? What? 1,001 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways because I don't know what else I do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Let's introduce the teams. To the south for the red team, we have Darth Revan, already winning tournaments before, as you can tell by the crown on his head, also known as X Factor Live, one of the top 1v1 players in the game. Next to him, same thing with Reclaim, Resbot. And in the bottom right, we have Narnik in the red. And off on his own little island, Blowdeer. Now for the pro team, and that's literal, not figurative. Well, it's both. But Randy in the blue, Florio in the teal, Autopilot in the green, and High Gain in the water, and also purple, with a hovercraft pad to start things off. So clearly, starting some early aggression. Hovercraft, well, this map featuring a variety of terrain. We've got water, we've got air, we've got earth, we've got fire. No, cliffs. Between the cliffs and the lane down the center, as well as the varied shallows and deeper water, and islands with metal extractors, there's a lot of opportunity for pretty much every single unit in the game. And there's a whole lot of them. It's measured in the hundreds. And I think this is our best chance in a high-level match to see the majority of them, assuming it lasts more than a few minutes. Now, an important thing to note that we're already seeing is that communism is king. And beyond all reason, you can transfer resources, units, even commanders with your teammates, which we've already seen, and that's a level of trust you certainly have to respect, as I can't imagine trusting my commander with someone I just met. But since the teams have clearly played together before, maybe they have a more intimate relationship. But also, the teams are dragging down their metal sliders, sharing the metal with the team, and creating a sort of a team-wide pool of metal to draw from. So that way you can expedite the process in building, well, fill in the blank there. And that is something you don't see nearly as often outside of professional games, where players have a tendency to spend on things that you might not agree with. But the bombers are spotted, and instead of building up their own economy, it looks like the red team will be starting by denying blues, as Randy loses a couple metal extractors right off the bat to the first whirlwind bombers. You can already see the teamwork at play. So, Reclaim Resbot moved the commanders forward, claimed the metal extractors. Darth Revan built the air pad and the air units, and then shared them with Blowdeer, who microed the bombers. Meanwhile, Narnik seems to be the logistics player. He has 6 light air transports. I assume those are to move construction turrets, which is actually one of the coolest parts of the game, is the ability not just to move units, but buildings around as well, in order to maximize efficiency. It's kind of a high APM, but also very high effectiveness strat that you can only really do with players of this caliber. Meanwhile, some Possum hovercraft rocket launchers targeting the metal extractors. Let's take a look. Looks like 1.8, 1.8, 2.2, and then 5.3 in the Giga extractor down the center. Up to 20 at tier 2. So that is metal per second. You can also see it in the top right. The overall counters for the teams right now almost dead even. Energy a second. Build power, the ability to jam both of those together to build units and defenses and economy and so on and so forth. Metal produced overall, energy produced overall, and then army value, which does include commanders at 1250 metal apiece. Then defense value and total damage dealt. A lot of numbers, but keeping track of them is not something most reasonable people worry too much about. Is that a commander drop? thinking about going straight for the base and then thinking about how these juicy metal extractors could be taken right now. Blow deer, tempering his expectations. I think radar spotted this somehow. As a couple of fighters come in and are actually going to knock out one of the construction aircraft. Meanwhile, Autopilot has claimed the center Gigamex here. Though Reclaim Resbot has 2 commanders down the center putting up defenses in order to zone out any further incursions. Meanwhile, the Possum's still shelling to the north. Fighters covering. The transport aircraft conspicuously hanging out here. Bloater's in a bit of an exposed position on the island. Might be looking to extract him. Meanwhile, there it is. So the construction turrets are owned by Darth Revan, but they're helping to build Narnik's geothermal, giving him that extra benefit. Florio in position to spot for these fighters overhead. And air control is a significant part of keeping total map control and beyond all reason. Fighters are incredibly dangerous to other aircraft, including other fighters. I believe just 1 hit to take each other out. Tier 2 might be 2, but they're very squishy, very fast, and very effective. And oh my! And this is a very big play. One way or another, Blow deer. With the calm drop, going for the geothermal. This is a one-way trip. Blow deer degons the tier 2 geothermal before it can get even close to seeing the light of day. Randy is putting up some laser turrets and looks like he's going to move to block for the tier 2 lab. The most valuable structure probably on the map for the blue team right now. And self-destructing his commander to make sure he can't get any closer. Takes the sacrifice for the greater good. And now both commanders are dead on the blue side of the map. That's 2,500 metal on the ground, but Blow deer is not slowing down. He's been handed a few Wasp gunships. The Cortex gunships are incredibly maneuverable and easily going to take out any tier 1 anti-air. These are tier 2 gunships. Ignoring the wall off down the center, High Gain actually moved his commander into mid, meaning he doesn't have any real build power over to the northeastern flank. Meanwhile, Reclaim... How do you have 3 commanders now? The entire team is Reclaim Resbot, which somehow seems very appropriate. But he has 3 personal first-class transports for him as well. The skyhooks are required because, much like your mother, the commanders are too heavy for a light transport. The fighters will be taking out most of the gunships, but the tier 2 fighters, the Nighthawks, are good enough to cover. And actually, he won the fight. These are tier 1 versus tier 2 fighters, which they're still very squishy, the tier 2s, but they clearly covered for enough. High Gain will be losing almost all of the metal extractors on this side of the map, and that gives the red team a significant advantage. But tier 2 units are now hitting the field, the ground-based ones. The Recluse all-terrain rocket spider. Pretty much the staple frontline unit for Armada. High DPS, high range, and it's a spider. Like, okay, well that's cool. No. Spiders can climb cliffs. And I shouldn't have to explain to you the geographical implications of that on this particular map. Spiders at a premium. Looks like both sides going for him, especially with the slight nerf to the Hound in the recent patch. The Recluse has fulfilled that middle, both the front line and kind of the side flank attacking unit. Relatively cheap, 400 metal, 4,500 energy, and a lot of DPS potential. Can easily take down an unsuspecting commander from a decent range. It's very interesting. I know we're mostly looking at the red side of the map, but there's a clear split in the tasks for the players. Reclaim Resbot is fighting on the front line. He's not building these units for the most part. He's getting handed them by Darth Revan, who's handing... Look at the top. You can see him constantly sharing the units. From my understanding, there's no way to automate that process. He's manually building a set of units and sharing them with Reclaim Resbot so he can focus on the front line. We can go to the player view for a little while, though. I warn you, maybe a bit of an epilepsy warning for some players. Depending on how they like to play here, but... New units received. Constantly getting more and more units. That's a fat boy. I'm sorry. The Fat Boy Heavy Plasma Bot. This is the Siege Breaker. A massive, effectively, well, it's a walking cannon. It's a super cannon. It does a ridiculous amount of damage. Doesn't have a lot of DPS, but the actual direct damage, 800. How much health does a Recluse have? 1600. Almost every tier 1 unit has well under that number. Now, what is happening here? This is a bit awkward. They don't even know how many commanders are up here. Florio is cloaked. Is there any vision? There's a dot, but that could be anything. When he gets closer and he sees that the dot is not revealed, though, it's going to become obvious. Here come the wasps. Florio, hello? Now, I must remind you that in order to win the game, very simply, you must destroy all your opponent's commanders. If your opposing team has 0 commanders, you lose, or you win. That's the way. Fighters swinging in, knock the wasps out of the sky, and wow. We'll save Florio for now. Though they're still in an awkward position up here. The push down the center. The Fat Boy is sieging for, but High Gain coming around the corner. The Cloak Commander, is he a D-gun range? Very much, yes. 1,400 metal down the drain, but the ticks are closing in. High Gain at only 50% health. Overrun by the ticks and will be take 0%. He had 30 health left. A tick does 24 damage. He was a tick bite and a half away. But High Gain lives, and that's huge. But a couple recluses came over the cliff and are now working through the re-established economy of High Gain. They have a super extractor, a tier 2. Okay, well, cliffs don't mean anything anymore because spiders are just going over the top on either side. There's an advanced geo on this tiny island down the center. Try to get a larger overview. Narnik building up the economy at the back. The unsung hero. So far, Narnik has done almost no damage. At 4k damage overall. But he's produced the most energy and a similar amount of metal. Now, one of the more important parts of the game, and unique, is the ability to reclaim. Every unit destroyed, well, with some exceptions, can be reclaimed for about 70% of the metal cost of the unit. It can also technically be resurrected for a cost of energy by resbots. Not, you can't just name yourself resbot to resurrect. It's a different... To be clear, though that would be an interesting implication, like a blacksmith naming themselves Smith. No societal commentary. Moving forward. Or back, depending on where the transports are. The blue team, I suspected they had significantly less energy production, and definitely looks like that is true. They're down 50% overall. The battle continues over the top of the southwestern sea. Recluses are still sneaking around. Did he just pick... Can you... Stop... Time out! I did not know. So he picked up the opposing recluse. But here comes Reclaim Resbot, who is capturing the metal extra... Okay, so these are mechanics that I kind of didn't even realize how they worked, to be honest, because they're so rarely seen in a practical... He steals the metal extractor. But, okay, so the fighters come in, they wipe out the transport holding the recluse, including the recluse inside, but... So, I didn't know you could put units in timeout with a transport, but there you go. Commanders can capture enemy buildings, and I believe units, but good luck with that for the most part. Usually those units shoot back at you is the issue. But the D-gun is the ultimate weapon. I can't believe he just straight up captured a metal extractor. It's not going to last long. High gain with the recluse almost in range. Could just fire at ground if he really wanted. I think the commander... Oh, what a dodge. What a slick dodge there. Trying to protect the... Probably was better to just get in front of it, but the micro continues. Narnik is now... He has a shipyard. We'll see if he techs up to tier 2. There's actually High Gain's metal extractor right there. Let's try to get a full overview here. Battle continues on either side. Recluse is over the top. The lines have been drawn down the center. Wait, what are those? Platypus. The platypi are skating by. They have like a little hovercraft animation. I'm not sure if they're able to fire in hovercraft mode, but amphibious bot indeed. The platypus, much like its Animal Kingdom counterpart, doesn't exactly know what it wants to be. But it is weird. Sonar plane taking some hits, but will scout all this. High Gain still on the high ground and has gained that map control advantage. Reclaim res button. Ticks across the field. Pulsars. I heard a pulsar. Yeah, autopilot's put up a pulsar down the center. The platypus surrounding Narn. Wait, is he underwater? They can't hit him because he's underwater. It appears they can only go surface to surface. So Narnik is technically safe because he is under the water. Only the points of his crown are sticking out right now. He's gonna lose the shipyard. He's actually repairing from down here. What? Who is this? Reclaim Resbot is back. De-gunning into the water, which has a really sick animation as well. But pawns are sprinting down the slope. Pawns are commander killers. If you're not ready, there's no cover here. Narnik has 2 commanders. Reclaim Resbot hands him off. Oh, Narnik, you've only owned this commander for like 4 seconds. It's a disaster. Oh no, he's gonna lose the comm. And the other comm is stranded underwater. So D-guns don't work underwater. If your D-gun arm is fully underwater, it just doesn't work out right, from my understanding. But can he come back to land? Maybe if a Razorback, a tier 3 battle mech, clears the way. The Razorback marching forth. And now High Gain is reclaimed. This is awkward. They can't really damage each other. They know they're there. I'm not sure if the Razorback can get involved. Vanguards. The mobile plasma cannons and also spider units. Some messenger cruise missile ships about to send a very explosive message down on whatever's nearby. Starting to really use that naval control. Plasma shield. The deflector shield is online. And the Vanguards are on the high ground. Razors on the low. Some Wasps overhead now for the pro team. Vanguards, but what are you? Interesting trajectory on that one. It'll eventually come down. Don't kill your teammate. Oh, a bit dangerous there. Meanwhile, the Junos will wipe... Oh my... An entire herd of ticks is wiped out by the Juno anti-scout and anti-radar missiles. Meanwhile, cruise missiles firing onto the beachhead to the west. A standoff continues. Get an overview for a moment. High Gain is really holding down this right side location. Narnik is trying to res the commander, trying to make it right. I think we've seen a lot of commander reses. Because unless you fully reclaim the corpses, the commander Rex can be... So, we've seen commanders die. You will probably see more than 8 commanders die in this game, despite one team winning eventually. I'm not sure what the count is so far, but in terms of metal production, it's about even. Energy production goes to the red team quite dramatically. Pulsar with the longest range of any non-long-range plasma cannon defense. There's gonna need to be something to break this siege. He's actually getting an EMP missile launcher as well. They also have intrusion countermeasures, so stealth unit detection. Another plasma shield at the back. Narnik is reborn, and he rises from the ocean. Damaged, yet intact. For now, until the Razorbacks come down that hill and he's still just sitting there, in which case that's going to be a disaster. Moving his ticks, I believe he just ran into his own Juno, but either way. There's like 2,000 metal of ticks on the ground here. The Razorback, no, the commander again. I mean, the commander can always D-gun. Razor's brawling it out. I don't think he has D-gun range. He fires it. He misses the shot. Oh, no. That's a big whiff. And now 2v1 on the Razorbacks with the ships getting involved as well. Razor goes down. Do they have any vision? They don't know where the commander is. You can always fire at ground, but that's unreliable at best. Meanwhile, down mid. Recluses leading the charge. Plasma shields on either side. Long-range anti-air missiles knocking some of the fighters out of the sky. Razor's brawling. Ooh. Both sides with enough Vanguard cannons to make things complicated. More Junos. They cannot be blocked. So, the cruise missiles have established a beachhead. There is an opportunity for an amphibious assault to make its way through the Western Front. We're gonna flip around to the blue team's perspective for a bit. Try to get a feeling. Honestly, it feels a lot more established, despite their economic losses. Maybe I take it back now, realizing that they don't have control of the sea. Vanguards and recluses crawling all over the cliffs. Ticks being rallied out to just draw fire. Make them waste their shots, sometimes their energy. What is happening here? The Vanguards are firing over the cliff onto the radar contacts of Blodier, who's now trying to establish a beachhead of construction bots. There's a single radar tower left over from Florio that is giving vision of this whole area. And that's what's allowing the Vanguards to fire over the top with some accuracy. But it appears we've reached something of a standoff. When Tier 3 units have hit the field, but the economies haven't scaled to the point where you can spam them. The total energy production is 12,000 for the blue team, 15,000 for red. Metal is almost dead even at about 350, which is impressively close considering the stage of the game. Most, naval advanced metal extractors, the Vanguards on either side. Interesting that both sides have gone for the Armada gantry as well. They're concentrating their production. Remember that pool of metal. Both sides focused on it. Narnik holding it together on the Eastern Front. Thor is here. The Thor lightning tank. Great for clearing out swarms of units and pushing forward. Very tanky. And has can launch its very... It has an EMP missile strapped to its back that recharges like once a minute or so. So can maybe disable some of the defenses right before you break through. 3 commanders per side. And no sign of that changing anytime soon. Marauders looking for an opportunity. Gonna try to take advantage of the space that Blodier opened up. EMP disables the anti-nuke and the Tier 3 production. Oh wait. Oh my, they did it! A nuke! Oh my, what a hit! Oh, but they have a backup. Alright, they had a backup. He launched the nuke, but it's knocked out of the sky by the interceptor. They weren't going to be vulnerable. The Department of Redundancy department comes through. That could have been a game-ending move. They went for the wombo combo. EMP missile on the anti-nuke system. And then, of course, follow it up with the nuclear missile. But with the foresight, Darth Revan has another anti-nuke. And now I think we've reached the late game. The assault across the board. Razorbacks and Narnik's commander to the Eastern Front. Marauders for Darth Revan to the west. Autopilot for the blue team down the center with a Thor and Vanguards. The Razorbacks are chewing at each other. on the plateau. But the Marauders! There's a Pulsar and a bunch of Gauss cannons. And Florio is their vision of the commander. No. How many can he get? We'll see. Fires it off. Fires the shots. Oh! I mean, he gets about half of them with the explosion. Many others softened up. Will that be enough to stop this attack in its tracks? The Marauders are very squishy. They're very fast, though, is their main advantage. Meanwhile, Thor versus Titan down the center. They also have some basic anti-air, so the Wasps aren't necessarily the direct counter. But I think... oh, the Tier 2 Geo would be the premium target here. If he gets the Tier 2 Geo, that everything alongside it goes up. It's so close. Wait, what? Did he manage to reclaim it? If you reclaim, it doesn't explode. Wow, that was lucky. He switched from repair to reclaim, and it didn't explode because of it. At least I'm reasonably sure that's what happened. He would have lost all of this. The Geo is like a mini nuke. Meanwhile, Narnik and high gain. Narnik playing fast and loose with this commander yet again. Is he just firing at ground? Oh, the D-gun. Narnik! No! Loses the commander, 2 apiece. Titans down the center. Thor retreated to the midline. More pulsars on the way as there's quite a traffic jam down mid. You can barely get some of those units through. A wave of ticks coming out from Blowdeer. The attacks to the flanks have been shut down. EMP missiles on either side. Juno. EMP hits some of the defenses. Titan out in front. Juno knocks out the ticks. Blowdeer's rallying. Behind it. Oh, is that an advanced fusion? Randy's opting for an advanced fusion. Reclaim still microing, backing off with the badly bruised tier 3. The army value 18% higher. Double EMP hits both. But there are 3. But wait, there's more. Every time there's one more. He's launching the nuke, but the interceptor goes up. They're just gonna keep that. The arms race between nukes and anti-nukes continues. So, nukes can fire anywhere on the map. Anti-nuke has a limited range. But anti-nuke is significantly cheaper. You can overwhelm it with enough nukes. They can only fire off so quickly. But it's almost prohibitively expensive unless you have near infinite money, like we've seen in some of the larger team games. High gain, badly bruised, Razorbacks, brawling it out. Down the center, and real progress being made by autopilot. Another volley of double EMP. They'll fire it off. Just trying to disable whatever they can, including the gantry. Army value is dead even. Metal per second is dead even. The unit count is 1,600 across the board, but that feels a bit low. I'm sure we can pump those numbers up. Those seem like rookie numbers to me. Fighters sweeping across the board. Matched on the field. There's plenty of anti-air as well. I'm not sure what this is cover for. Yes, I am. Here come the bombers. Oh, he's aiming for the Geo in the back, it looks like. And he managed to clear the path. He cuts through the wind farm. Wow. You could just... Is he going to do like a full area command? He didn't target the tier 2 Geo, which is one way to... Oh, I feel like that's a massive whiff there. Like, that is not... The tier 2 Geo would work just fine as a way to clear the wind farm. He had the opportunity, but... didn't quite nail it. Meanwhile, the beachhead is being established. Some of the air transports being taken down by the Archangel anti-air bots. But, this brawl between Narnik and High Gain. I like how there's so clearly players battling it out as well. Narnik versus High Gain. Blowdeer versus... versus the world. And then Autopilot versus Resbot and Revan. As soon as I said it, I realized it wasn't that clear at all. Oh, the commander is finally dead. One of the mammoth tanks helping out. And technically, there's only one commander left. Who is it? Autopilot down the center. 1 versus 2. We are 1 commander away from game over. And this is very much a game where things can happen so quickly, and commanders at this stage do not have plot armor. They can die to a single tier 3 unit if you don't get your D gun out in time. Will easily kill your commander. A few incidental plasma shots will kill your commander. Standing too close to the wrong buildings could kill your commander. Existential dread can kill your commander. All right, heart disease probably won't kill your commander. They don't have a heart. That is one way to deal with a beachhead. Nukes it off the beaches. The pulsar, when tucked into its like defensive mode, takes a lot less damage, so it manages to survive on the beach. But otherwise, a nuclear defense. What a game. Titans down the center. An Armageddon launcher. The nuke. For the red team as well. Starting to feel a little cramped in here, despite how open it was before. EMPs. He's EMPing the EMP launchers. At some point, something's got to give, right? Neither side has opted for the Cortex. Very interesting, we haven't seen any Cortex Tier 3, nor any tactical nuke launchers, which have significantly less range than the EMP, though. Razorbacks do have anti-air, but not enough to deal with that many wasps. The wind farms are just taking up the entire minimap, let alone the field. Another overview real quick. The sharpshooters holding the line. Helping, and then the Junos down the center, clearing the field of ticks. More EMPs. They're just kind of firing off in the general vicinity. Titan, overrun by ankle biters. Getting that extra flanking damage. He transfers the Titan to Bloatia. And the Titan blasts its way around the cliff. Yeah. If it can fire at 1 target at a time. Oh my, the EMP volleys. From at some point, the entire map's just going to be EMP. When do they fire? He's stockpiled the... I can't... So the nuke launcher does not have any kills, which means if he did fire off a nuke, it did not land. I'm looking for anti-nuke. Do they not have it? I don't... There's got to be anti-nuke. There's no way there's not. There's no way. So here's the icon. On this one. Uh-oh. Have they seen? They've seen it. They got a note. I'm just blind. Yeah, there it is. There it is. I see it now. Just had to refilter. Speaking of... There you go. Could have just waited for that moment. But Bloatia is using that Titan. And until the Titan falls... It is the apex predator. High gain with some Titans coming around the cliff. Into the... lagoon. Metal per second now going kind of back and forth with the reclaim. Overall metal production is dead even. Army value slightly in favor of the blue team. But where it's applied is obviously way more important at this stage. The energy production is in favor of red. The Titans are trying to come over the hill. It's an awkward angle. I don't think the pulsars quite have vision. They will now. But the Titans on the high ground getting just sliced by the pulsars from long range. Yeah, the pulsars are too strong to break right now. Maybe they thought the EMP is hit harder than they did. Another nuke. And another interceptor at point blank. Right? Wait. No. The outlet, anything that isn't covered, is vulnerable. The nuke lands and wipes High Gain's infrastructure off the field. High Gain has 150 energy and 43 metal set. I mean, he's working off the team, but that's a little sad. He has almost nothing at this point. I'm just interested to see if either side will do a tech switch or we're going to continue leaning on the Armada. So the Armada Tier 3 gantry has a lot more practical units. But speaking of, he's actually Darth Revan salvaging. How many EMP launch? Oh my, there are 9 EMP launchers. This is getting ridiculous. 6 on the other side. Are they gonna just rebuild it somewhere else? Because it's so figured out where the gantry is that they've just outright deleted it. Going for more air. There is no way to defend besides killing the launchers themselves. The entire point of these tactical missile emplacements is to break sieges. Oh, wow. Huge hit! Bloater, multiple advanced fusions will go down. Too greedy. Where was... Oh no, the anti-nuke ship was a little off-center. And oh yeah, now he's moving it. A little bit late. Kind of locking the barn door after a nuclear missile exploded inside the barn situation. That's actually a huge turnaround. That was a big chunk of the economy. Now the energy is dead even. The red team was slightly more across the board. But that is a momentum shift, especially since that happened at a very key time. That was during the tech switch for red. So they're switching into mass air. Losing any sort of resources could allow an opportunity for a direct push. The pawns are getting obliterated by missile after missile. But they're just pawns. Aptly named. Just the... This is ridiculous. Those EMP missiles last like 25 seconds? Something like that. Maybe 30 even? Yeah. EMPs have different levels of magnitude, different effects based on the units. Like some units are immune or very resistant to it. Like a lot of the tier 3 units are very hard to EMP. Titans battling across the field. Still no... Wait! Are there even any Cortex? Yeah, there's Cortex. What am I saying? There's so much Cortex on the field. They could build Cortex T3 for like behemoths, juggernauts. But the Armada T3 is admittedly more practical. Cortex Tier 3 gantry has access to your... They almost feel like Tier 4 units a lot of the time. But the Armada has some true Tier 3 units that are like just better versions or upgraded versions of Tier 2. But the pawns are swinging in. An entire legion of them. The sharpshooters can only aim at one at a time. The artillery's a little better. But there's very little anti-swarm here. The pawns are just ripping through. There's no answer. The Titans are moving into position. The sharpshooters don't know where to aim. They're in the midst of everything, and the chain reactions are going to start becoming devastating. And there goes some energy converters construction. Okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought, but still losing any infrastructure could tilt things. The fighters! Moving to intercept. Darth Revan moves in with enough fighters to knock down the incursion. Don't even know if there are bombers. They're continually firing off the EMPs. There's still the battleships, the Titans, the threat of a beachhead growing into a actual assault. Bloater has been working this angle. Has to... He's got a lot to make up. Okay, there's the interceptor. Knocked it out of the sky. I think it was aiming for the background. 2,200 units on the field. One unit could be one Titan or one tick. That's the beauty and the horror of the game. Each player is allotted 2,000 in this match, so a maximum potential of 16,000. Two Titans do beat one Titan most of the time, even with the high ground advantage. Two Titans starting to break through, and there's not that much between them and the production line. Bloater has broken through. The fighter's moving to cover. Autopilot clearly moving back to defend. A bit of a panic here, as the Titans at point-blank range. The anti-nuke carrier is also mobile anti-nuke, generator, radar, and sonar. I don't know what generator means in this case. Does it actually... Oh, it has energy stores. That's pretty cool. Most of the front line is EMP'd. There's nearly enough EMP launchers to wipe out the entire side. The fighter swarm with the hailstorms behind. Looking for vision. He has some radar planes as well. The air coming in. But he's just trying to cover for the bombers. They see the fusions, but they're knocked out of the sky before they can get even close. Some of them may land on key locations, but not enough to take out the advanced fusions. An optimistic attack is shut down by the overwhelming swarm of fighters. Same thing with Bloater moving in. Razorbacks, but the pawns underneath. There's some vanguards off to the side shooting other vanguards in the back. The fight in the canyon. The brawl. Bloater not gonna let this go down easy, and if you get too close, you're in range of the battleships, which can provide a lot of support. Wow. Nuke is firing. There's an interceptor. Oh, going up to intercept this one at point blank. He was trying to nuke the beachhead. Another one. Both sides launching nukes. Both sides intercept. There are now some long-range plasma cannons. The Basilica from the Armada, with range extending pretty much to the other corner of the map. But, of course, the plasma shields can deflect them. Meanwhile, Narnik, it's still one commander to two. It looks like most of the commanders... That's not a commander, is it? It is! They're gonna bring a commander back after all this time. The counter will double. Back to two. High gain. Found a commander corpse on the ground that had yet to be reclaimed. And we're back to 2-2. I don't know if there are any more on the map. If EMP hits the plasma shields, that opens up an opportunity for the cannons to go through. We're looking at an actual professional game where the super cannons may be an opportunity, for better or worse. The LOL cannons, the super... Oh! The nuke! Direct hit, but not too much hit. And he's opened up... You know, if they nuke it enough, it'll open up a naval path. Because that is the only way to terraform, and beyond all reason. Nuclear well, large explosions, mostly limited to nuclear missiles. I think commander explosions and like tactical nukes can do a small amount. But nukes can eventually turn this into an entirely naval map. Though, and I think that would actually favor, you know, they might want to consider it. Because if these ships can get a little further in, I can't believe that's a practical... It could be. We're not there yet. Plasma cannons just firing at the literal... Just the entire map is wind farm. How many wind turbines? There's 600 something on the screen right now. It's like 1,000 on the map. What happened here? Looks like some T3 got degunned. Razorbacks fighting forward. Will overrun one of the Titans. High gain with his reborn commander in a very conspicuous position for us, but not necessarily spotted. More Junos firing through. Bombers lifting off. I'm pretty sure fighter control goes to the blue team, but almost all the other counters are on red side here. The fighters are coagulating at the back, but a bombing run will be attempted. Highgate and Narnik still dueling it out. There is no vision of those bombers. And there won't be until they get dangerously... There are 3 advanced fusions right here. This is a real opportunity. They are in the dark, and what they don't know can definitely hurt them. The bombers are spotted. The pings! The fighters need to move. They'll move to intercept, but it might be too late. The bombers will get a runoff. I take it back. The fighters were a little off-center. They didn't take out the anti-nuke at 1%. It lived. I think they were going to try to combine it with a nuke in that corner. But the anti-nuke survives. And now Narnik striking back. That was every fighter. Several hundred taken down. The ticks. Ah! With the flanking damage, especially the ticks, the Titan just doesn't have the weapons to deal with them quickly. Probably the best anti-tick is the Razorback with its effectively machine gun lasers. Thor's down the center. He's self-destructing this Titan. Interesting. Another nuke. Just... And the shockwave will take out some. This anti-nuke. Can we get... Okay, well. Probably shouldn't have that. That coverage should be around. Standoff continues. How many units destroyed so far? 4,000. The wind turbines are creeping forward. The inexorable march of wind turbines as the butlers, also a very convenient unit for building them. The combat engineer for Armada, well, the repair bot out of the Tier 2 Armada lab, can build wind turbines, which Darth Revan is clearly using to very, very dramatic effect. They're just leaving a lane to get out, and there it is. The behemoth. Brenda! What? You're looking mighty thick today. Thank you. I don't... Sorry. A behemoth. The most HP of any unit in the game. A barely mobile heavy turret. Not here to do the damage itself, but to absorb so much. Nuclear launched into... there's no interceptor. He's firing it off into the corner to hit the Titans. They're using intercontinental nukes in order to... like tactical nuke launchers now. Is the scenario. The behemoth... Can you even get out? It feels like there's not enough space. And... Well, that didn't last. Ah! Help me stop, Commander, I'm stuck! They have to reclaim the pinpointers, which they're going to want to rebuild. Pinpointers allow your units to be more accurate when firing at radar contacts. EMP will delay the production of yet another behemoth, but the behemoth is complete, and this will be the focal point of the next push. The Titans, Razorbacks, all looking up, trying to find a target. Is he resurrecting that commander again? Still 2-2. The behemoth has arrived. Another nuke. Some ticks. Where's that nuke going? I thought so. Creating even more naval area, it seems. Knocks into the side, wipes out the res bots, takes out the side of the mountain. But the Titans are mostly uncontested. Darnik still has a commander. D-gun range. He's trying to get close so he can fire at both. Doesn't quite get the second, but that's enough to drive it back, especially with the bulwarks there. Meanwhile, the ticks brawling it out. Titans on either side. The battleship's in range as well. The anti-nuke carrier. The construction turrets from the water. Helping produce the ticks on the high ground. I love it. And the incursion continues. The vanguard's over the top. This is starting to become quite a concern. As Bloody are dragging some of the attention back. The behemoths are moving. Technically. The energy. Red team has the advantage across the board except in army value. And that's almost dead even. The wind farms on either side. Plasma cannons building up. Energy, 33 versus 50k. That is quite a disparity. So the biggest danger to behemoths, the natural predator of behemoths, commanders. As they are they have 350,000-ish baseline HP. Compare that to a Titan, which has 70k. It is just a ridiculous amount of health to get through. The D-gun does it all in one shot, though. It's just the sheer magnitude of health. There's nothing but a D-gun. So they might just be trying to draw out the commanders with the behemoths. Potentially snipe them and take a victory that way. But the red team, I think, has the advantage. Based on all the numbers. Then again, that army value is still such a key part. Plasma cannons slamming into the behemoths. They can get multiple shots off. They're continuing to fire off EMPs, just volley firing across the board. The advanced fusions in a precarious position. Also, they don't even have a shield on them, which is... Meanwhile, the behemoth being overrun by the pawns. Thors and Titans looking to match it. Only half HP. So the behemoth has pretty much a commander D-gun. I don't think it one-shots everything, but it does a lot of damage. Takes out swaths of units. We just got to get up close and personal. Come here so I can see you with my Gauss cannon. I didn't put my reading glasses on, so I can't really aim easily. Oh, Brenda, calm down. I'm very calm. My metabolism is so low. You see how fast I move? I don't... Sorry. I am in an alternate dimension for a moment there, but... The speed's 17 compared to the speedy Titan, which is 46. The pawn is 87 for reference. The ticks are starting to make a lot of progress. The vanguards are chilling on the high ground here. They can fire over the top with high trajectory artillery fire, but they need some vision, ideally, to do that. Why does High Gain have a Titan over it? The Behemoths successfully driving back the main brunt of the force. Just a massive wall of HP. Also takes a lot of time to repair, but... over 3,000 units. That's why my eardrums are suffering. Behemoth! Taken down after a massive effort. The second being repaired. So what's the play? The standoff continues. A nuke? I'm not seeing an interceptor. Oh. There it is. Knocked out of the sky. Just testing each side. Mass production. The fusion core is coming online. The fusion beacons. The exponential scale. He actually salvaged his advanced geothermal to have a better setup for the fusions. Which at this point, the advanced geo is like 1250. The super fusions, or the advanced fusions, are 3,000 a pop. So really adding up over double the energy. It's hard not to see the red team's victory as inevitable. I don't like to call it early. All right. Because still anything can happen. In fact, just to be clear, I have no idea who wins this. I was just recommended this game. Thank you, by the way. I think 4v4 is the sweet spot for competitive beyond all reason, where you have enough variety in the strategies and the potential to pretty much see everything, but without the complete, almost uncontrolled chaos of 8v8 or higher. I think the smaller team games are a bit more one-dimensional, but here clearly seeing naval units, large ground, air of all varieties, tactical emplacements, fighter swarms, and okay, well, yellow very much won that. The roughneck gunships finding success against the Titans, but they will clear through. The wind turbines are actually kind of physically blocking. He's gonna get some more done over here. Throwing the Titans into the fray. And this actually, Bloatier backed off. And that allows some of the platypi to maybe sneak by, but the battleships are in position to deal with them. Knock them out of the water. Unfortunately, we haven't seen too much more nuclear terraforming. Nuke down. Not sure who was affected more by that, but a nuke down the center west plateau. Behemoths continue to rally across, the red team wielding that economic advantage. They've now gained 23% more metal production over time, 38% more energy as well, 40% more army value on the field, and 100% reason to remember the name. What's the play? Barring a massive nuke. A nuke in this corner somehow would turn it all around. But it's hard to see the trajectory. The Behemoth on the high ground. Wow, so tanky. Just taking the entirety of the defenses. 4 or 5 pulsars simultaneously. Still barely making a dent. There's a second Behemoth. They're just carving through. Titans successfully traversing the water onto the island and knocking out this outpost. Some of the battleships taken down as well, but the gunships covered by the fighters. The gunships overrunning. The plasma cannon's not going to happen over here. The behemoth's still making progress. They actually take out the supermax down the center. Randy with that rally point of units still making a lot of progress. The behemoths will be taken down. But there's no answer for these gunships. Like, there's just not. They just have full air control. Looking for... There's the tier 3... Oh, no. The fusions. That's the fusions! Oh, they're gonna get them. I think a lot of the gunships will go down with it. They do, but that's a huge hit. The energy disparity gets even more dramatic. And it's been a process, but I think that process is nearly complete. With over double the income. The red team now has every real advantage. There's still 2 commanders on either side. Let's try to keep tabs up. Blowdeer is in the water. Narnik is on the beaches. They're in relatively exposed positions, though at this point everybody's commander is just cloaked by default. You don't want to take the risk. There needs to be some sort of gamble. Some big play to try to turn this around. I don't think nukes are that play. The behemoths are almost completely denying anything down mid. Titans struggling to make any progress on the Western Front. More of the same is good. But is it good enough? Another volley of EMPs. Look here, says Darth Rat. Why does he say that? Oh, is there no anti-nuke in range? It might be. They're gonna try to do an edge nuke. There might be an opportunity. Oh my. There is. Oh, intercepted. I take it back. The behemoths continue to march across the field. 20k metal relatively cheap. And Juggernaut detected. Looking to follow off the back of the behemoths. Or maybe through the water. But the most expensive unit in the game at 29,000. That's true, right? Yeah. 29,000 metal apiece. The Juggernaut. Usually considered more of a liability than a boon, as it is vulnerable to D-guns. It becomes essentially the target for everything within the entire county, but stomping its way. Sharing hundreds of aircraft with his team. Autopilot has held the line down the center for over an hour. High Gain has managed to keep Narnik at bay for the same amount of time. Randy has contributed to both fronts and defended against Blowdeer. Florio has helped with the economy and built up the air defenses. Another nuke. But I fear it all comes crumbling down, as it's the economy. The mass air production Literally dozens of fusions. 5, 6 air pads spamming fighters because they're actually at the speed that the limiting factor is the ability for the aircraft to move away and start another production. This is when having multiple production facilities is actually becoming necessary. Contrary to most other RTS. The fighters dancing in the sky like flocks of starlings. It's a beautiful, deadly exchange as they cut into each other. And I'm sure there's some finesse to it, but for me, it's just a hit the fight command and hope for the best sort of situation. Nuke. On both sides. There's going to be 2 nukes in the air simultaneously. Yeah. Firing off. Oh, he's trying to knock out the fighters. And he succeeds. He takes out a wave of the fighters with it. Another nuke, though. That one will land as well. I've not seen a nuke use trying to cut through the beachhead. Both sides just unleashing everything they have. Knowing that something's got to give. The Juggernaut. With its iconic laser cannon. The sound of danger. You can hear that. Usually you hear the laser before you see the Juggernaut. And panic ensues. The Resbot picking up the behemoth wrecks across the field. As they don't quite have the vision. Resbots are stealth units, which means they don't show up on radar. You need to actually have active vision of them, which is remarkably hard in this scenario. That's why they're able to survive here. They just don't have the eco. They took too much of a hit. And I fear the momentum will not shift. Oh my. Calamity. They've got at least one tier 3 unit. Enemy Titan detected. Tier 2 unit spotted. Calamity is ready. Who's first? Calamity online. And he's firing it. Oh. He's bouncing it off the shields. Oh no. Oh, it's already a disaster. And they don't have shields on the fusions. It's just a matter of time till one bounces the wrong way. Oh, there's a hit. More bouncing off. And they're hitting the fusions directly, extending the range with the shields. Oh no. It's a disaster. The shield is... At this point, I think you just delete the shield. It's an active detriment. The behemoths through the center. The massive push. There go the fusions. The finishing move. Finally. And the energy at 990. It's 8K to 100K. The behemoths are marching down the center. But it's already over. That's it. The last and final blow. Should open up potentially even some nukes. Just firing everything, sending everything. The behemoths just tanking the mass pulsar. A summoning circle of Resbots. The fortress for Team Pog, I believe their name was, will hold the Calamity, spelling calamity for their opponents. Just firing in the general vicinity of the center line. The shields are failing. The shots are going right through. There's about 5 too many behemoths. 6 marching across the field. They will fight it out. Autopilot moving forward. Gonna use the commander for everything they've got. I don't believe they have vision of it. Oh wait, they do! Oh, and a nuke! But it's too late, and the behemoths can easily weather it. G! They tap it out. give that one a yellow card.
So that's how it ends.
Mr. Resbot, but with control, honestly, the scaling of the economy, I don't know how much damage Narnik did. He ended up doing a lot throughout the game. I take it, yeah. Revan was actually the macro god. Okay, can we... Revan, constantly building up, has thousands... How many wind turbines? 473 on the screen. At some point, that was nearing 1,000. So many fusions. 40 advanced fusions. I probably missed a few off to the side as well, but... After 69 minutes. A very nice game. But while it trended one direction for a significant amount of the time, I still think quite a demonstration of the wide array of options. From the Tier 3 Armada to the almost Tier 4 Cortex in the form of behemoths, the nuke and anti-nuke exchanges, the amphibious invasions, the naval battles, the air over the top, and the hovercraft in between. Truly, a battle that is surpassing the bounds of reason. So, there you have it. Let's get some graphs as well. But, thank you for watching. Look at all those fancy graphs. Here's some statistics. You can pause on that if you're so inclined. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I look forward to more. What size? All right, how big is big enough? Or small? How many players? What kind of games? I know this was a longer, bit more of a stalemate, but that's the beauty of the best real-time strategy games. They could be 10 minutes, or they could be 100. And anywhere in between. I hope it made your day a little bit better. If you got the means and motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But otherwise, I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out Beyond All Reason. Absolutely free link in the description. Check out the Discord. Work towards that next major event. And otherwise, good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Stay unreasonable.